Hi, I'm Dr. Keith Johnson. I can remember a day. A woman came into my office unexpectedly with no appointment, and she was obviously in tears.
I asked her what was the matter and decided I better set aside whatever I was doing so I could listen to her and see if I could help her. And crying, she said to me, "I don't know what to do. I'm so busy. Life has overtaken me and I just don't have any purpose. I feel overwhelmed. My life is full of problems and responsibilities. I don't have time just to live." I was taken aback a little bit when she said it because back when that happened, I had just had the same thought about half an hour before she had come in. Maybe I was the one that needed counseling. Talking with someone who had come to see me about the problems in her marriage, I listened as she explained how her husband was neglecting her, her kids were walking all over her. As often happens, I became amazed at the details of her plight, enough drama to make a movie interesting, and I felt sorry for what she thought was a life with lots of problems. So as I listened, I interactively made suggestions as to how she could take charge of her life and make it work for her. And even as I spoke with her, I couldn't help but ponder on the difficulties of my own life and realized how all of us are trying to survive. It is somewhat difficult to realize how to make life to work in your favor. In most cases, whatever those forces might be that are against you, they don't care much about whether you win or lose, but just enjoy the idea of frustrating and antagonizing all of us. And those forces are there, whether they be people or spiritual forces or even our own emotions sometimes. Trying to figure out with how to live and what we should do is not easy. You know the feeling. You don't know where it comes from. You have this aura of anger even when you can't identify its origin. Therefore, the key factor is caring about your own personal history and what happens to your life and how you feel about it being up to you. You love your neighbor as you love yourself. It is essential that you find for yourself your own happiness. You're the one who has to live with the results, whether it be an overdrawn bank account or a car that doesn't work or a girlfriend or boyfriend that's making you miserable. It's you who is left with the results, and therefore it's up to you to make the results favorable if you can, and to come out with at least a conclusion temporarily which you can happily live with, a conclusion that comes not from the past or lies in the future, but is in the present, from your own inner resources. The Bible makes a very piercing statement in Psalms, the 46th chapter, the 10th verse. "Be still and know that I am God." One thing I learned from my near-death experience in the hospital, I was just too busy. I was doing too much, and I wasn't giving myself a chance to live. That which I think is so important isn't. All the plans that I had for the next month dissipated when I ended up in an accident in the hospital. And when I got out, I took the advice of a very wise doctor. Learn to do one thing at a time and no more than one major activity a day. Now, I've tried to follow that advice just for the maintenance of my own stress level, but it's a constant battle, and I would think that the devil and the forces that are against you and me would love to fill our calendar with mundane duties that we think are so important that we're ready to give up. I've learned that if I counsel clients, that's all I do all day. If I teach school, that's all I do all day. I refuse to fill my calendar with various acts that save the world. I leave that to God now. If I teach, it's the only activity I allow myself to do, and I try to do it well. I need to slow down, I need to relax, and I need to stop trying to do so much. Great people create their lives actively, while everyone else is created by their lives. Sometimes we make the very foolish mistake of allowing ourselves to be the victim. We have this strange idea that the more we sit passively and let people walk over us, the nobler we are, and then we wonder why our lives are so miserable. People that want to live learn to make things happen. If you want that great job, you have to go out and get it. If you're looking for a good relationship,
You have to go out and find it. It's not going to just come to you. If you want to feel good about helping someone, you have to go out and seek someone who needs your help. One of the reasons that someone needs your help is because they don't go looking for you to help them. So you have to turn that life around by finding them in their need. Passivity gives you whatever comes along. And there's a better chance than not that whatever that is, it's not going to be in your favor. Sounds like a pretty negative comment, doesn't it? Well, in case you haven't noticed, there's a lot of negativity out there. Sometimes we help to foster that negativity by allowing it to make us unhappy and not doing anything about it. Happiness doesn't come from visiting out of nowhere. We have to get up and find our happiness. Don't make the mistake of trying to do it all at once. You can't solve all the problems at once. You can't make yourself happy all at once. Don't look for a job and also the good deed on the same day. Spread out your time and your activities. Give yourself a chance to live and enjoy the moment. The greatest enemy to living in the moment and making things work for you is the past and the future, the things that happen in our mind that never really occur. So many of us are bogged down by the bad things that have happened to us. Our mind is set so that we remain a victim to those things that happen. You're only a victim as long as you allow yourself to be, or even worse, as long as you make yourself one. These are people who revel in being a victim because that's all they've ever known. They're comfortable in their habits. They've committed their lives to staying there as long as they live. I'm telling you, don't be one of those people. Don't give up. Don't be stuck milling over a painful world that you went through and therefore have no future. The other great enemy of your happiness is what can happen to the future. Some people live their lives dreaming of what might be that never comes. There are people who are living for the day that want to win that big jackpot, and every night they sit in front of the TV with great anticipation, hoping their numbers will come up, while their bills continue to mount up. Nothing wrong with playing the lottery, but getting a good job that'll pay your bills is far more pragmatic. Living must be an active process. If you don't keep up with it, it'll take over. Living is growing, changing, circulating your vitals, and finding new worlds while you change the old ones. Living is actively giving off your butt and into the mess. Learning, moving, becoming a force in yourself instead of being taken over by it. Sit in that miserable job for years, accept that comfortable paycheck. One day you realize that life has passed you by. Stay in that miserable marriage without doing something about it. One day you realize that life has passed you by. Time waits for no man. As time goes by, you suddenly see that you have wanted what could have been active choices and abundant living. You're only given your life once, and that's why today is called the present. Take your present, unwrap it slowly, enjoy it. There's only one way to overcome the inheritance of a bad past or the happy, hopeless end of a future that never comes, and that's to live in the now, in the present, to enjoy the present in all its glory. In fact, it's only by living in the present that you have any power to make your life and the lives of those around you better. If you live in the past, you live in a world that no longer exists, except that you're going to keep giving the past power that it never had over you to suddenly be alive again by reliving it, making you and everyone around you miserable again with whatever it was that happened and makes you unhappy. And if you live in the future, you definitely live in a world that doesn't exist. No one promises you tomorrow. You can be pretty certain that no matter what tomorrow brings you, it won't be what you think it is. Living in the present gives you power to do something about your life now and the lives of others around you. You can activate choice. You can do it immediately. You can choose to motivate yourself to move out into that cruel world and make it better. If you need to get a better job, now is the time. If you need to love your kids, now is the time. If you need to get a better understanding of God, now is the time. If you need to make amends with some of your friends, now is the time. If you need to enjoy their company, now is the time. If that car needs fixing, now is the time. If you need a better place to live, now is the time. If you need to get out of that unhappy relationship, now is the time. You're not going to live forever. In fact, the only thing you know for sure is that you're living right now. So what are you waiting for? Start living. You waiting for your children to get better? Waiting for more money to fall from out of the sky? For the moment when you finally forget some poor memory? Or for Prince Charming to come in on his horse and scoop you up and take him to his castle? It's not going to happen until you make it happen. So make it happen. Stop whatever it is you're doing this moment and listen to the wind against the trees. See how they sway. They enjoy the breeze. They take in every moment without worry and enjoy their existence. Look at the clouds and see their glory. They revel in their existence. Listen to the people around you that are within earshot. There are people you need to interact with right now. Those are the people who need your help. Help them right now. Stop thinking about how you were such a victim in the past. Get into the present. Grab your time. Don't worry about what problems you might face in the future. Instead, take the power of now and influence that future to be in your favor by the choices you make today, right now. The greatest power of the present is its ability to influence the future by the choices you make today. Decide what you want. Decide what you need. Decide where you're going. And do it right now.